Hi, this is my pick a card reading for what's unique about you. This is going to be pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Timestamps are in the description below, and I'll see you at your piles. Thank you. Here, if you chose pile 1, which is this deck, this isn't like an oracle deck. It's a bunch of numbers. I'm going to be using this deck to give you your reading, as well as this deck. I wasn't planning on this one, but this is the one I see first. So every pile is using tarot, this tarot deck, and you have this one. So yours is numbers, which is not the same as anyone else's. And this is about what's unique about you. The first thing I want to say, based on just simply the pile you chose, which is the deck of numbers, you may be more analytical. You may literally just like really be good with numbers. Math could have been like your favorite subject. You may be like a black and white person, like things, like there's no gray area when it comes to you. It makes sense or it doesn't make sense. I think that makes you straightforward. I think it makes you direct. I think you're someone who follows directions well, again, because when things are clear, it's easy for you to work with. You know, and I used to kind of myself even feel this way sometimes. Real quick, is that I never liked English and like language arts and all that stuff because I felt it was so subjective. I felt, sorry, there's something going by the house. But it's so subjective. It is something that it feels like everyone can put their opinion in, and you get judged on opinion. You know, you don't like what I wrote about. You don't like my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't interest you. It felt very much so heavy, biased when it came to that stuff. But with math, I loved math because I felt, like I said before, it's black and white. It makes sense or it doesn't. And if it doesn't make sense, here's how you get it to make sense. So it felt easier. So I think you may be someone who may think that way at times as well. You're very focused. I think you're very intelligent. And I think you need things to be very straightforward. And that for you would make it easy to understand. So let's do this pile first, this deck. I shuffle on camera. Let's see what comes out for you. I have no limit on the cards that want to come out. But this is pile 1. What's unique about you? Again, could be analytical person. Could be, you know, complex topics. Maybe something that makes sense to you, you know. Simple things may be hard for you to understand. And at times when I say this, it makes me kind of think of autism. It makes me think, like, because sometimes with people that have autism, it's some of the most complex things that is easy for them to understand, but some of the most things that seem simple, like just saying hi to someone, having a conversation with someone, or talking about things they don't really care about, or, little things like that may be easy to us. Some other people, to them, it's just, like, it's so hard for them, but you can give them some of the most complex, questions, some of the most complex problems to solve, and they'll come up with solutions to it, and they can figure it out. And so you may be someone who's kind of like that. Just gonna shuffle, see when it feels right to get the card out here. What's unique about pile 1? I think you like to take your time. Attention to detail is important to you. You think things should be done very well. They should be organized. And again, I get like, it's kind of like autism vibes a little bit at times, where I think of like Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. Someone who's organized, you know what I'm saying? It's not even so much organized. It's just like kind of organized though. Organized thoughts, organized routine. What's unique about pile 1? 21. Maybe a little socially awkward. What's unique about you? Just want to pick that one. 11. Yeah, I think you're someone, this could be like maybe like OCD, or I think you're someone where things like this is like they're mirroring each other, they're the exact same size, they're the 11, it's mirroring, it's very, I think things have to be very clear to you, they have to make sense to you. You are someone who is not afraid to start new projects. You're not afraid to like tackle something that may be hard for other people to even like look at. You go one step at a time with everything you do. You like precision. You like for things to be like exact. You want them to go like, you want things to be like perfect. Again, it gives me like OCD vibes, maybe like maybe autism, maybe, you know, it's just, but OCD seems more right to me. But I think you're very patient. Also, ironic. I say ironic because it doesn't sound like you would be, but you are patient because you think things need to be done. You can't put a time, you know, on perfection. Like you can't, you know, when things have to be done right, they're going to be done right in due time. And if you want them to be done right, you need to be patient. So I think you're patient, you know, because of how much you value things looking the way you want them to look. You know, you could also be someone who like, it looks like a clay, like, you know how you can like sculpt. It looks like you could be someone who maybe is artistic in that way too, where maybe you tackle on artistic, you have artistic skills that honestly like aren't that easy. Like, you know, like master clay pot maker people, it looks like they're just popping out these awesome vases and all this stuff just like nothing, but it's actually not that easy to just make a nice one. You know, it takes time, it takes perfection, and it's like not only do you make good ones, you add designs to them, you engrave things, you customize them, you add colors, you add, and so I think there's something about you. So I think the things that you do in your life, you're very good at and you're very gifted at, and that's because you take your time doing it. You have really great like, you know, and that's what brings me back to like, you know, some people with autism where they kind of almost like obsess over some of the things that they do. So they're very knowledgeable about it. They engulf themselves completely in the subjects and, you know, ideas, I guess, that they have. They fully entertain it and they fully invest into it. So it makes them very good at what they do. So I think that you're someone who, you're very logical, you're very smart, you can see patterns very well. You are able to like almost like it almost feels like you could look at a haystack and just spot the needle type stuff. Like it's really kind of crazy. It's really cool, and that's really a unique thing about you. But I gotta pull a tarot card too as well. But yeah, and the 11 haha, but the 11, it's funny I said 11 again, the mirroring, the perfection needing, it's almost like the when Sheldon Cooper on Big Bang Theory, he has like OCD kind of like when he's knocking on the door, he has to like for example, he has a neighbor named Penny, so he's knocking on her door and he'll be like, Penny, 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 you know what I'm saying? But it's like that kind of like you do it, I don't know, your own way. Things like you'll do something over and over again until it feels right for you. But I think you honestly do great things, so I don't think that's like anything wrong with it. I think it just works for you. And it may seem odd to other people, but I don't think that's a problem. What's unique about pile 1? Oh, cool. I love when they pop out. It's so satisfying. It's like, oh, it's meant for me. We have, it's 4 of Wands. It says, family is whoever makes you feel most safe and comfortable being you. But I believe it came out in reverse. You don't depend on anybody to give you any comfort, to do anything. You don't look to anyone for encouragement or validation or support. If anything, you are someone who like, I hope you don't like what I like. I hope you don't want to do it. You want it all to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you very much like to take on loads by yourself because you enjoy the rewards by yourself. I think you're very proud. I think you are a proud person. I think you're aware of how good you are at the things you do. I think you know that. I don't, like, you know, you may not think you're the best, but you definitely wouldn't say you do bad work. Um, I think you're honestly, yeah, I'd say you're very proud, honestly, of the things that you do. And so to put like all this together, um, I'm not done with this though, but no, but to put it together in a jiffy, you are just somebody who is incredibly talented. Um, talented so because whatever you do, you pay great attention to detail to it. You will go over and over and over and over and practice it again and again and do it over and over again until it feels right to you, until you respect it. You don't look for anyone else to validate the things you do, to like it. That's not what gets you out of bed in the morning, to go do the things you want to do, is people thinking it's worth it. You don't care. You are someone who I would even say has kind of like like Aquarius vibes, to the sense where it's like, I think very mental, very in your head. But the reason I said Aquarius vibes the most is because you seem to have like a freak flag. That's what they'll say about Aquarians, is they let their freak flags fly. You know, they're not ashamed. They're not afraid of being different. If anything, they want to be different. And that comes back to this card where it's like, I hope you didn't see it the way I see it. I hope you're not onto what I'm onto, because this is mine, okay? I see this, okay? Again, you know, and that even gives me more. Again, that's Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory. If you know that show, it's like he's very smart, intelligent, and he knows it. He knows he's smart, okay? He knows what he's doing is stuff that most people will not understand, they won't get, and he wants to keep it that way, kind of. Like, he's honestly very, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being like confident and proud of yourself for doing good work, you know. And that's how I see you are. I think you're very aware and very confident, honestly, in that part of yourself. And what makes you unique is that, you know, you're a powerhouse. You're a confident powerhouse. You're good at what you do. You honestly probably enjoy being alone. But it's just really what's really going off, boom, boom, boom in my head. You're smart. You're so smart. You're so smart. You are very, very, very much smart. Almost in like, you know, like, again, I hope it doesn't come off like ignorant or offensive or anything, but kind of like in like an autistic kind of way. A lot of people with autism are incredibly smart. You know, and a lot of it is, you know, their brain just works differently. They see things differently. So when you have a fresh pair of eyes of things, I mean, possibilities are endless to the things you can discover and see. So I think that's kind of, you could be someone who's on the spectrum. You could be someone who has like, you know, obsessive compulsive disorder, things needing to be perfect and in order, and that could play a role in being why you're so good at the things you're good at. Or, you know, it's just, I really do think you are someone who is just very mentally gifted, very intelligent, has a keen eye, can really do anything they put their mind to because of how hardworking and tenacious they really are. They're not looking for credit from anyone else. They will pat themselves on the back every time. They know their worth. They know their intelligence. They know what they're capable of. And they most likely don't even really want a teammate. They don't want your help. They don't want you to, don't even look at what I'm doing. I don't want you to even think of it. Okay. I don't even want you to like, I honestly, I don't care. It sounds like it should be like, I feel like it sounds like an asshole, but it's not. I can't even explain it too well. I feel like it's just they're fiercely independent. They fiercely don't depend on anybody else. They're not looking at what you're doing. They don't want you to look at what they're doing. They're just like, can everybody mind their business? Can we all move, you know what I'm saying, at our own paces, doing our own thing, and leave it at that. I know I'm doing great. I'm happy with myself. Yeah, it's just like someone who worked really hard for what they have. They enjoy their life and they don't want anyone messing it up. That's just how it feels. It's like, I know I'm doing good. I love where I'm at. I'm proud of myself. And I just don't need any people to taint that. I don't need anyone to ruin this from me, drag me down, mess up my focus. I don't need any of it, you know? I just don't, you know? That's how it seems. And I would say what's unique about you is that you are a great, great, great you're a, what do I want to say? You're a great component to whatever you're doing, whatever industry you're a part of, whatever you're a part of, you are an asset to it for surely, because you are someone who definitely going to be one of the top 5 workers. You're doing your best. You are putting your all into it, and you're understanding every aspect of what you're doing. So, yeah, you're very smart. You're intelligent. Same, but smart, intelligent, keen eye, attention to detail, fiercely independent, great motivation, hardworking, driven, talented, skillful, like just like that typical stereotypical, just like amazing artist who lives by themselves in a penthouse, like painting alone, drinking, and just no friends, and just I don't know, like, but they're happy that way, just like hipster, just like like but like in a good way. I don't know how to explain it. Just you're very cool. You're very cool, man. But yeah, you're very smart. I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you, pile 1. Hey, you're here if you chose pile 2. You chose this is my little homemade deck. I use like, I don't know, self-adhesive stuff or whatever, lamination, and I painted some cards and stuff, but it's all zodiac signs. So no other deck. Every pile had different like oracles. This one zodiac signs. So this could just going based off of the pile you chose, you could really be just honestly a naturally very spiritual person. You could have been someone from a young age. You were like, could have been raised with this kind of like like believing in zodiac, believing in astrology, knowing your natal chart, your moon sign, all you could have had parents like this. Maybe this is like heavy in your family. But you seem like someone who just kind of has, again, what is that word? A niche for something, a knack for something. You just had like a natural interest in it and a natural kind of gift in it. I think that you are very much so in tune with the world around you. I think you're very peaceful. I think you're honestly very wise. I think you might be more so into spirituality than most people that you kind of know that may be into it too. So like maybe people that do tarot readings too, or people that know their moon sign, people that listen to tarot readings, or keep up on where the moon's at and the sun's at and where the planets are at and what that means to them. And but I feel like you may not really find people who are into it as much as you are. Like you may spend a lot of time in this kind of area of your life, your spirituality. I think it means a lot to you. And I think that is honestly a character trait in a way, kind of yours, because of how much it really is a part of your everyday and your outlook on life. So that definitely is going to play a role into what is unique about you. So we're going to pick a card here, see what you get here. This is about what's unique about you. Every pile is getting their pile that they chose, the deck. They're going to get a card pulled from this. And I have a tarot deck. Every pile is using the same tarot deck. So we're going to do this one after I pick this card for you. We'll see what comes up. So I just think you're naturally a spiritual person. Let's see where this goes. About pile 2. Okay. Scorpio. Scorpio's very, very, very emotional. They are also very emotionally intelligent, and they actually they can just be really kind of intelligent in general. I get like street smart vibes. Like again, it's just that energy that they pick up on people, the things people want to say but don't. Like Scorpios can be really good at reading people, because they themselves, usually since young age, Scorpios usually have to undergo kind of a lot of emotional baggage, more so than I feel like some other people at times, because they're so deep. Like, I don't know how else to put it. They're very, very, very deep, but they're not deep with everyone. So I do think that leaves a good amount of their deepness left to deal with by themselves. So I think they had to learn from a young time how to be emotionally intelligent, and how to figure these things out, because they were constantly given emotional challenges. And that could be you as well. That could be someone, you could be someone who you feel like you're very emotionally intelligent yourself, and you most likely are. And that may be because you yourself can relate to that kind of statement where from a young age you've had a lot of emotional challenges, a lot of, you could have just been an overly sensitive person. You noticed a lot of things, picked up on things most people maybe didn't. So it didn't create problems for them, but created problems for you. You couldn't open up to everyone about these things. It seemed problematic. It seemed just like, what I'm saying, you're being too much, things like that. So you may have been left to deal with those things on your own, which really aided you in who you really became today, which is most likely not most likely, which is a very emotionally intelligent person who's very connected to, I would say, the other side in a very positive way. I think you have a lot of love attached, attached to you. It's like, it like bleeds off of your soul. The amount of love I feel like you have. I think you're deep. I think you're not afraid to cut people off. Again, that's that Scorpio, very emotionally just in tune, but doesn't let that drown them, I'd say, anymore. So, with you, I would just say that you're very cutthroat, you're very strict, you're very strong. You don't play games with people. You're not trying to play games with anybody. You don't want to go after anyone, and nobody better come after you. Oh. I wanted to say you seem like someone who could be like someone who really has like low-key a career or something with trying to like fight off like bad energies, and it makes me think literal spiritualness. Like, I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that would be. I don't know. I don't know, like a pastor, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like spiritual jobs, or things where like you can be like, not in a rude way or anything, trying to be funny, but like ghost hunters. I don't know. Like, it gives me like someone who's very much so in tune with the spiritual world, and what they devote like their life to, their time to, is fighting off like negative vibes, negative spirits in the world. Like, I don't know. And I feel like that could be as simple as like, oh, a therapist, or someone who like, it could be as simple and literal as like, and you're a police officer, you're someone who really does fight for good in this world, but you're very spiritual at the same time. Or it could be someone who literally is like, I don't know. Again, I don't know spiritual jobs like that, but if you know them, you hopefully know what I'm talking about. I know there's like people that like you can pay to come cleanse your house, and things like that, people that help with paranormal activities, things like that. But I think you're someone who's very heavily invested in the spiritual world. And I think, yeah, it's just a part of your everyday life. And let's see what you get for your tarot card. What's unique about pile 2? And I want to say that not only are you invested in the spiritual, like your spiritual life, I think a lot of people see that on you. I don't know exactly how, but there's something about you. You could be someone where people try to do things to you, and it literally bounces right back off of you and back to them. And so it's almost when things like that happen, you can't help but to be like someone's protecting this person. And I feel you may be someone like that. You're someone that some way or how people notice that's just okay. Like they're protected somehow. They're connected, no, don't know how, but they can tell. They can tell. You could be someone who just, a lot of blessings happen for you. You're very protected. Things fall right out the sky when you need them. You're that kind of person. I think it's because you have a respect for the other side. And in return, the other side does have respect for you and does want to help you in positive, progressive, uplifting ways that don't hurt you or anyone else, especially when that's your intention going into it. So what is pile 2? What makes pile 2 unique? It's very just spiritually sassy. Just Queen of Wands. Replace your self-doubt with self-confidence in reverse. What's unique about you? That's cool. Okay, threw me for a loop with that one. Queen of Wands in reverse. Again, you're very in tune with who you are inside. I think that you may come off This is weird, but okay, you may come off as somebody who doesn't seem like you like yourself, which is very weird, I know to say, but I'm going with it here. You come off maybe as someone who doesn't really like themselves, but deep down, you love yourself. You love yourself. You love everything you do. You think, and not in like a conceited way, but just like you're proud of your efforts. You don't knock yourself too hard for trying things that don't work. You know, like you may come off, I don't know why this is like this, but you may come off like someone who's bitter or angry or like, you know, like not pleased with themselves or, but you're not like that at all. That's very weird. Okay, so what am I going to do with this here now, Spirit? What's unique about this person? Pull another one. Okay. Okay. This didn't happen with the other pile. So I think you may be someone who people have to put in a little extra work to get to know you, to get to see what's underneath the hard exterior. It may be things they're not used to doing. You may be someone who is put into people's lives to pressure them spiritually. So you may notice that you may be someone that, you meet people and they just are people that kind of go through things. They're people that have hard soul journeys. Their soul's on a really hard journey here. And I think that you end up meeting these people, getting people like this in your life. And I just heard you need it all. I'm getting cards that you need it all. You ask a lot of people. I think you really are someone that's put here to challenge people and help them to grow. You are someone that's confusing. People meet you, they don't know what they're getting. They don't really know how you feel about most things. I think you give off mixed vibes. You may be confused. No, you're not confused. but they think that though. And I think that comes down to that Scorpio, very, very genuinely emotionally intelligent. I think you keep your cards close to your chest. You know you do that and you want to keep doing that. And you do that for good reason. You don't have ill intent, and you don't care what other people think your intentions are. Period, point blank. I think you're very, again, cutthroat. You're very to the point. You don't think it's necessary for you to know about my business. You shouldn't worry about if I like myself. You shouldn't worry about if I like what I'm doing. Do you like yourself? Do you like what you're doing? And that makes me want to say you mirror people. You show people what they're thinking. So like you could be around someone being yourself, and some people are like, and they may get in their head and overthink it, and they're like, oh, they don't like me, or they're mad, and then you're kind of just like, no, I think that's kind of a reflection like of you. Maybe you don't like me, maybe you're mad with how I'm acting, and I just feel like you have that kind of vibe with you where you can really, I don't know, I feel like you went through a lot emotionally, and now you're kind of here to kind of teach people how to do that too. And I think you do it in indirect ways, and you do it in indirect ways. I think you're someone who honestly has figured out a lot of life, and they kind of play with people about it. Not in mean ways, not in like but kind of in like it's fun. You kind of treat life like a movie. Like you kind of like to see how it all kind of like plays out. Like you're not gonna not help. But you're not gonna spoil the ending for nobody. You're gonna like you enjoy seeing people go through life. Ups and downs, I think you find them all to be beautiful and worthy based on your own experiences as well. I just don't think you pity people. I think that the Magician, you have everything you need to do anything you want. I think that you are someone who you'd say I only roll with winners. And what's a winner to you? Winners are people who are happy. That's what it means to you. I think you are someone who on the outside looks like you might have high standards, looks like you might be hard to get along with or talk to. You seem unpleased with life. You seem, upset or this. But the truth is, deep down, you're like, no, I just do me, and I'm not thinking about like how you feel about it, and you're maybe not used to that. So how about you can get in the vibe where you don't worry about me, and then we can hang out. So I think part of you was really cool is that the passage to kind of getting closer to you forces people to become more emotionally intelligent, more emotionally aware, and at the same time to become more cold, in a very positive way, because I think you come into contact with people who might be people pleasers, or might be people who are, I say it all the time, that are plagued with emotions that maybe you at one point had to figure out on your own. You don't, you just don't entertain bad vibes from these people. You don't, I'm not trying to ramble, but like, you indirectly teach people how to move through life confidently and at peace with themselves, and not worrying about if anyone else thinks they're at peace or not too. Like, I'm gonna wear my favorite shoes that I love because they're comfy and I think they're cute, and I don't care if they're name brand or not. I don't care if they have a hole in them or not. These are my favorite shoes and I like how they feel on my feet. It makes me happy. You're someone who wants people like that in your life, so you act like that. And you kind of use it as a filter to get people that you want in your life. I guess I'm trying hard to explain it without it being too confusing. I hope it makes sense. But really, at the end of it, you are someone who, you are not perfect at all. You don't care that you're not perfect. You love that you're not perfect. You own it. You don't lie. You're honest. You're very warm. You're childlike at heart. You love to do, you have little hobbies. You like to, you know what I'm saying? You love to do little self-care things. You're honestly a cute person. It's really cute the way you live your life. It's warm, it's inviting, and it's sweet. But it's definitely not door open to everybody. And that's what makes you unique. What makes you unique is how you indirectly teach people how to respect themselves. You indirectly, without even having to try, you show people themselves. In a way, like, you're able to show people, like, this is how you feel. This is who you are. This isn't me. Like, you're very, I don't know, you're a mirror to a lot of people, I think. And I think you know that. I think you're very in tune spiritually, which is also why you're aware of that. This was kind of a complex, like, I hope it makes sense reading. And I feel like that's just a perfect, honestly, vibe of who you are, though. I think you're someone who understands life is complex, at times confusing. And you're like, I like it that way. You have to be cool with it like that. I think you're someone who's really learned life. You kind of understood the ups and downs of it, embraced it, and you're not fazed by it. And you teach people how to be the same way and to be true to themselves throughout the whole process, because that's what you do yourself. You're an awesome person, and you don't even care that I said that. And that's what's cool about you. Yeah, thank you. Pile 3. You are here if you chose this deck. This is a bunch of animals. Every deck had different. First deck was numbers. Second was zodiac signs. This one is animals. You could be. I always like to interpret. Sorry, got interrupted a little bit, but this is the deck you chose, and I'm gonna interpret kind of what I pick up on you based on just the deck you chose yourself, which is about animals. So it could make me, actually, I don't want to. I'm cool. I don't feel like I want to do that right now, which is weird because the other ones I did, and it came out just naturally. This one, no, I don't feel that way, and that probably is gonna play a role in your reading. The reason, there's gonna be a reason why I didn't want to do all that. Makes me think you don't like that kind of stuff. Makes me think you're simple. Brings me back again to animals. It's just like very simple. They're not complex. They're not calculating. They kind of like to deal with life as it comes. They don't want to think, I don't know, too far ahead in the future, and they're not even trying to be that way. I think you're just kind of, I would say, someone who's just like at peace. You're not looking for anything more than the present, and I think, yeah, I think you're simple, and I think you're peaceful. Yeah. I don't think you need much, and that's why I feel like I was like, I don't really have much to say. It's like you don't need it. You're like, it's cool. Like, I don't, yeah, it's kind of cool. Gives me like grandparent vibes. You know, like when grandparents, they get old and wise and they start talking about what really matters in life. You feel like you're that kind of person. Like, what really matters? You know, the words about what you think of me, you know, about, or does it matter who I am? You know, every day. You know, you seem like that kind of person. Just very deep, very, you know, honestly wise, very at the same time simple. You know, sometimes the most simple recipes, the most simple ingredients are the most crucial, the most important, the most, you know, simple salt, simple pepper makes a whole dish, you know, just completely different than if you didn't have it. And I feel that's kind of how you are in this world. Simple, but very necessary, very prominent, and very noticed. We got the deer. Take note of the messages in whispers and secrets adrift on the breeze. Yeah, that reminds me of you. It's almost like, it's like you, like everyone in this world needs so much, just to be happy. You know, we look for so much when everything we need is around us, when the answers we seek come to us every day, every second, but we're so busy, so fast paced, so on our own. You know how they say, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. I think you're someone who would say something like that. You love to be in the moment because you know if you want to do anything, it's the moment. You seize the moment. You understand that. You love that. And I think you think that, you know, and that's kind of why also I think there wasn't much to say just off the deck, because you would find strength in less words. You'd find more meaning in less words, you know. And you see even how I was like, I don't want to say anything. And I feel like that means a lot on its own. I think you're someone who would respect that and love that about like life in general, is that you'd say, you know, sometimes you get the most from nothing. You know, sometimes you learn the most from silence, you know. Yeah, you're very, very, very cool. You open up people's eyes. You make them think of life in a different way. You really do. Um, you know, even just seeing the card and feeling this energy, it makes me see life like a little different right now. You know, like be at peace. Don't strive to have so much of things. Don't strive so much for the future. Strive for the present. What is for you right now? And in the future, you will be where you need to be. This is that 5 of Swords with the dog too. Very animals, man. You can't be right all of the time. And I think you respect that, and I think you know that. And actually what this is saying to me is I feel you actually were not always this kind of a peaceful person. I feel that at one point you used to talk too much. I think at one point you were incredibly stubborn. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't, you know how, like I said, sometimes the answers come to you when you're just quiet. You didn't buy none of that shit before, I think. I think before you was like, no, the answers come to you when you ask, okay? Things come to you when you go to it, okay? I think you were very different. And I think that you would say like, you know, cause this dog kind of makes me feel like this spirit, like watching you be stubborn, watching you kind of, and you'd be like, your spirit was with me the whole time, was patient with me, and brought me to a place in my life now where I'm at peace. I don't plan so much. I don't look ahead so much. I don't depend so much on what could be. You're like, no, I just see my present, and I live in that, and I make the most of that. You know, I just feel like you would even want me to stop reading this now, because I feel I feel like you're teaching me right now. Like I feel like it's looking into my soul, like that, dear. Like it's just. I think you're someone who really had like a genuine spiritual awakening. I think you're like kind of a miracle person, or I don't know if you went through things maybe you really should have died. You know, like you really should not have been here, but you know, or like, you know, it could be someone who had like, you know, addictions, or someone, you know, was so, I don't know, so engulfed in the world around them, they were kind of drowning, they were kind of killing themselves with it. And I don't think you would take that back for anything. I think you have a lot of love for who you kind of used to be, because you have a lot of love for the world, and you recognize that who you really used to be was very worldly. And guess what? So is everyone else around you. And I don't think you have hatred for that. I think you have understanding for that. And if anything, it makes you want to live life the way you're living it now even more. Because I think every day, you can help someone. I think every day, not only can you help someone, you can help yourself. And it's not even that. It's not that. It's weird, but I wouldn't even say it's not about that. Like, you'd be like, it doesn't matter who I help. It doesn't matter who helps me. It doesn't matter if I help myself. It doesn't matter. I'm here today, and I'm meant to be here today. It really is someone who has very much value for life. This makes me feel it's someone who almost had their life taken from them, you know? Or has come to moments where they wanted to take their own life, or, I just think this person understands, bro, like, my life is very valuable, and I don't need anything else. That's what's unique about you, and that's all I have to say. God bless. Thank you. For real.